So, I am going to propose a theory, and if you could be so kind as to tell me what you think, where my mistakes might be in the logic of what I present. But if you could, hear me out. I believe that we are in the midst of at least the first third of a civil war occurring in our country. And it's in a way cold, but in a way not. If we look at this fifth generation warfare, if you look at the hierarchy of warfare, fifth generation may include things like concepts, culture, very, very indirect combat, if you will, like not even physical hand-to-hand stuff at this point. Shafe put out a video, it was a few months ago, when mentioning, if you look at Netflix and the movies that are presented on Netflix and the characters that are presented on Netflix seem to be tailor fit to piss off white people. Like you show two black dudes kissing, or two brown women kissing, or you change a beloved character like Deadshot to a black guy, and that's okay. But then if a white person plays somebody who's traditionally not white, then that's not okay. It's this really strange culture warfare in an effort to instigate an opposition. It came to a head for me maybe about 2 weeks ago over this so-called Bud Light controversy with the Dylan Mulvaney character being on the can of Bud Light, and there seeming to be conservative outrage over it. I've got friends on Facebook that posted a bunch of bull crap about it, and unfortunately my homepage feed on YouTube feeds me crap that I don't really want because of videos that I watch. So I gotta listen to Ben Shapiro, like if I click on it, of course, Ben Shapiro talking in this fast forward voice, just going on about culture and who's this and who's that. Now, Ben Shapiro and some of those other people are capable of being intelligent and posing a good argument. But to me, they don't. They will present an argument that tears down the opposition, but they won't present an argument against their own party. So in a way, you have that whole lie by omission. So they end up being liars. And then it gets into that's your truth, this is my truth. And it ends up getting out of hand. The point of all this that I'm saying is, so we're halfway into this war, and we're not getting anywhere. You're not destroying the opposition. You're not lifting up what your position is. We're not better for it. We're not improving anything. My observation is it seems like just in any type of warfare, the people that make money on it, the people that come out okay with it, are the people that sell the weapons. The weapons are very different in this fifth generational warfare that I'm proposing to you. It's information platforms. It's influencer screen time. Social currency. A real, valid social currency that was created and is lifted up. Meanwhile, again, like any other war, the people that do all right are the people that sell the guns. And in this case, they sell them, the metaphorical guns, to either party. What is the solution to it? I can't say. I really can't. We can look to other civil wars, from the good, the bad, and the ugly. So in the case of a clean civil war, relatively speaking, going back in time, in England, is it the War of the Roses? And you actually have a transitioning administration that keeps everything straight with very limited opposition. Once it's all said and done, like a line of demarcation, like the Tudors being in control of England. Further on with the American Civil War, also known as the Northern War of Aggression, where the combat raged on until the point of it was no longer viable for the CSA, to continue to make war. Going back a little bit, the difference between a revolution versus civil war, the French Revolution, which in a way, because it was internal, that was ugly. Going from a monarchy to, whatever the hell you want to call it, they ended up with afterwards. Seemingly democratic, but in a way it was exchanging one monarchy for another. And then, and so the beat goes on. I don't know if the answer is in direct combat. Now this is fast forwarding back to today. Now I'm talking metaphorical, not metaphorical direct combat. Take the advent of Truth Social, Rumble, where you end up being like a poor copy of what the battleground is. So like in warfare, sometimes an objective is to take and seize and now run a battleground. Was Truth Social an effort to move your battleground over so that you can say, well, we've seized this location? That's not a victory. That's a lateral move. So again, speaking fully in a metaphor here, how do you beat an insurgency, or how do you beat an opposition in a fifth generational sense? You're talking hearts and minds, but how can you take time to get through to your opposition to actually change this ethereal plane of warfare when the actual weapons are the platform that you're speaking on, the precious ground to be conquered is actually the weapons? How do you do that? It takes more than what we're putting out. The shame of it would be how it sucks the inspiration and sucks the life and sucks the motivation out of, as Ronald Reagan would call it, the moral majority, which he meant something different, but I believe there is a moral silent majority in all of this. It sucks the inspiration out of those people when you force them to take a side. So when say the BLM was getting really big a couple years ago, and the woke side tried to say like, hey, silence is violence, so you gotta get up and say racism is bad and violence against racist people is bad. That's all well and good, but it sucks the inspiration out of a person. The pursuit of happiness is so important to the success of what made Western civilization good. People feeling that they had the freedom and the hope to do better. And the hope sprang from believing that you have the capability to improve your station in life. You know, you see you have a problem, you can come up with your own solution, or it's okay to pursue how to solve that. Versus a culture where you are pinned down, and because you are born into a certain category, that's the category you're stuck with. You know, we had this novel concept that came along in the 18th century that a person should have the freedom to rise above that. And that was even a French concept. So what am I trying to say? Don't let them take your freedom. Either side. Think for yourself. It's okay to listen to the other side. Because you got to find out where these arguments are being fortified from. Because people do truly have limited bandwidth of what they can comprehend. And when core programming has determined which way that bandwidth is going to be directed, you got to find a way to tune it. You got to find those knobs. And if you're a centrist, don't be ashamed of that. That's going to be what gets us through this. All right. Let me know what y'all think. Catch you later.